to us. The terms and settings of the old myths are strange. They seem archaic and distant to us. But if we listen to them carefully and take them seriously, we begin to hear and to understand. Sometimes it is necessary to translate a symbolic meaning, but this is not difficult once we see how it can be done. Many psychologists have interpreted the Eros and Psyche myth as a statement of the feminine personality. Perhaps it would be wise at the very beginning of this study to say that we are speaking of femininity wherever it is found, in men as well as in women. To confine this story to women's personalities alone would be to limit it severely. Dr. Jung, in one of his most profound insights, showed that, just as genetically every man has recessive female chromosomes and hormones, so too every woman has a group of masculine psychological characteristics that make up a minority element in her. The man's feminine side, Dr. Jung called the anima. The woman's masculine side, he called the animus. Much has been written about the anima and animus, and we will have more to say about both of them later. At this point, whenever we speak of the feminine aspects of the Eros and Psyche myth, we are speaking not only about women, but also about the man's anima, his feminine side. The connection may be more obvious to a woman, since femininity is her major psychological quality, yet there will also be something of a parallel to the interior feminine aspect of a man's psychology. The birth of Psyche. Our tale begins with the line, "Once there was a kingdom." From this we know that we will be given vision and insight into that kingdom, which is our own inner world. If you listen to the old language of the tale, you will see into that inner realm, seldom explored by the modern rational mind. A gold mine of information and insight is promised by a few words. Once there was a kingdom. The story begins. There is a king, a queen, and their 3 daughters. The 2 eldest are ordinary princesses, not very remarkable. The 3rd daughter is the very embodiment of the inner world, and even bears the name Psyche, which means soul. She will take us on a journey to the inner world. She is as much of the mythic kingdom as she is of the earthly kingdom. Do you know these 3 in yourself? Who can be unaware of the ordinary part of oneself and that special unearthly inner self, who does so badly in the ordinariness of everyday life? So great was the power of this extraordinary princess that people began saying, "Here is the new Aphrodite. Here's the new goddess who will take the place of the old one, drive her from her temple, and entirely supersede her." Aphrodite had to bear the insult of seeing the ashes of the sacramental fires in her temples grow cold, and the cult of this new slip of a girl take her place. Now Aphrodite was the goddess of femininity, who had reigned since the beginning, no one knew how long. For her to see the rise of a new goddess of femininity was more than she could bear. Her rage and jealousy were apocalyptic, and the whole course of our story is determined at this moment. To stir the rage or demand change of a god or goddess is to shake the very foundations of one's inner world. The mythic elements. The origins of the 2 goddesses, Aphrodite and Psyche, are interesting. Wielding a sickle, Cronus, the youngest and craftiest son of Uranus, the god of the sky, severed his father's genitals and flung them into the sea, thus fertilizing the water, and Aphrodite was born. Aphrodite's birth was immortalized by Botticelli in his magnificent painting, The Birth of Venus. She, in all her feminine majesty, is being born upon a wave, standing on a shell. This is the divine origin of the feminine principle in its archetypal form, which may be vividly contrasted with the human birth of Psyche, who was said to have been conceived by dewdrops that fell from the sky. What curious language! But this language is rich in psychological insight, if you can hear its archaic, timeless message. The difference between these 2 births, if properly understood, reveals the different natures of the 2 feminine principles. Aphrodite is a goddess born of the sea. She is primeval, oceanic in her feminine power. She is from the beginning of time and holds court at the bottom of the sea. In psychological terms, she